Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Bishop Bird Nick, and with me via Zoom, we have Mr. Ed Sullivan of the Cigar Authority. How you doing, Ed?
I'm doing great. How are you today, Nick?
I'm doing good. I'm running a little behind, so I appreciate you taking time out of your day today to sit down and chat and have a cigar with me.
Yeah, maybe we can teach you how to plan better for shows.
You know, that's what I wanted to talk about today, was kind of the behind the scenes, the production of the Cigar Authority a little bit. Because as most people who listen to me on the regular probably can tell, I think 1 in every 4 of these is kind of like plotted out in advance, you know. Otherwise, it's like kind of by the skin of my teeth. And in this case, you know, I had a wonderful long weekend with my son. So, I mean, I wouldn't change a thing, but it does kind of put me a little bit behind the 8 ball in terms of some work commitments today on Tuesday. So that's all right.
I mean, listen, after over 14 years, the Cigar Authority is a well-oiled machine that sometimes breaks down.
Every once in a while.
Well, it's 14 years old, you know.
Yeah, you know, exactly. It's got a lot of miles on it, you know.
It does have a lot of miles.
Well, what are you smoking today?
You know, today I thought I would have, let's see, the Olmec.
Now, see, I could have coordinated with you.
Oh, you got that?
I think I have one inside.
Yeah, but do you have the double Corona?
Actually, you know what? All right, you know what's really sad is I think I actually
you have that exact one inside.
I think I have that exact size inside because I think the shop that I bought it at, that was the size that they had, and so I went ahead and bought it. But it's okay. I'll stick with what I grabbed.
Well, what did you grab?
So I grabbed the Garofalo Family Reserve Sun-Grown.
Sometimes I like to go to yeah, that's not La Familia.
This is the Family Reserve. Yeah.
And sometimes I prefer that one because they're smaller ring gauge.
Yeah, this is a 6x50 Toro, you know, so
like real Toro size from the old days.
Now, I know that Perdomo makes the La Familia for him. Does Perdomo make this one as well?
He does.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
So, well, cool. Well, it's time to cut the cigar. And the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. 2 Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows 2 Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try because you won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and awesome customer service. Ed, what more could you possibly want?
Oh, but nothing more. You know, I was saying to Dave last weekend, Nick always says 40 years. It's actually 39, but he's on a roll. Let him go with it.
I'm reading the ad copy Dave supplied me. So
really,
I'm just saying
that's so you where think he exaggerated it.
That's where the 40 came from. I knew it was 39 because I'm literally on my way in September to the 39th anniversary party.
That's right.
So I knew it was 39, but
I mean 40 just, I guess, has a better ring to it.
Look,
right?
when the man sends me a check and says it's 40, it's fucking 40, you know?
So, I guess so.
Anyway, well, please go to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase and tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. And with that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. Ooh, that was a good clip.
Yeah.
That one, like right there, didn't hit the microphone this time or anything. I mean, that sounded nice. So
what are you cutting? Straight cut there?
I did straight cut. Yeah,
you should.
Yeah. I mean, I have the SV cutter, and for a while I was really, high on the V cut. But that was when I was going into the lounge a little bit more frequently. And not to give Mr. Jonathan credit for having a good idea, but the idea that having the V cut makes your cigar stand out from everybody else's in the ashtray so that you know which one to grab. It's not a bad idea.
I still enjoy a straight cut more, so I'll risk it.
You're like, none of these guys look like they have anything that can't be cured
No.
with a shot. So, anyway. Well, I like the Olmec. I wish, I should have asked you what you were smoking.
Oh boy.
I didn't think about
you
it.
just assumed we couldn't coordinate.
I kind of did. Well, I mean, let's be real. I have, everything about this thing is pulled together
It's
fairly last minute. So yeah, I didn't expect that you and I would actually be able to coordinate on a cigar, much less the exact same size cigar.
Fairly last minute, you say.
Yeah.
Let's see. What time did that text come in?
It was late. I know it was late. It was very late.
Let's see.
It was very, very late.
11:46. And yeah, I don't know what goes on because I responded at 3:39 and you still seem to be awake.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know what happened last night about that time, but I had you and like two other people like responding to text messages at like that same general time, to where my phone on the nightstand was just blowing up, and that's what actually woke me up.
So you kind of
like one individual,
there must be something real going on here.
Yeah, like one individual text message would not have done it. But and I know it didn't do it because I finally heard one, woke up and checked it, and it wasn't yours. You had already responded. So somebody else.
Mine wasn't the wake up.
Yours wasn't the wake up.
No, because I wouldn't do that to you.
Well, I mean, I hoped that you had your phone on do not disturb so that you weren't like,
I don't have my phone near me when I'm sleeping.
Oh, well, there you go.
Once I put it down for the day, I don't look at it again.
Well, I use it as an alarm clock. So I should put it across the room. That would actually prevent me from being able to hit snooze. I could actually get up out of bed, turn it off at the appropriate time.
Do you have this yet?
Not yet. That is on my shopping list for when I'm out there in September, though.
Very nice lighter.
It's gorgeous. That's the you guys are calling it the steampunk.
That's what Jonathan calls it. I believe it's called the Winston is what
the Winston
calls it. Yeah.
Okay. It's a gorgeous lighter. Now that's okay. That's a sizable lighter. So I would say it's more of a tabletop lighter.
It is. You're not carrying
okay.
And because even with the size, it feels heavy for the size.
Okay.
This is substantial.
All right. So you're not carrying that around.
No, I have it out here with my Lotus ashtray.
Well, look at you.
Which is another great outdoor ashtray. The Lotus Armstrong. I don't know why I'm advertising for Lotus right now.
I was going to say, I mean, when did I get a Lotus sponsorship? But
right, this
is that one of the silicone ones?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, those are nice.
They are, but it really does seem to attract the pollen. I had to I had to shovel pollen out of here so that I could sit and have a cigar.
A lot of trees in the background, though. So, like,
I kind of live in the woods.
Okay.
Yeah.
You seem like a guy,
right?
Yeah. I was say you seem like a guy that would like to live kind of away from people.
Yeah, my town is 2-acre minimum, and almost everybody's got a wooded lot, so we don't see much of each other, and that's great.
That is nice. That is nice. Yeah, I'm not looking at a lot of 2-acre wooded lots when I'm out house shopping right now. No.
What are you seeing? They're measured in like 1,000 square foot lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, not like literally 1,000 square foot, but I mean, one that I'm looking at tomorrow actually is what's the lot size on that? About 8,700 square feet for the lot,
Wow.
So
that's not a lot. It's not a lot.
It's not a lot. But see, I don't need a big lawn. I don't really particularly want a big lawn.
And that's what I like about the woods here. People aren't into the big sprawling lawn. You got trees.
Yeah, I don't want to have to do much mowing.
No. Why would you?
I exactly. Who wants to do that?
No.
and I figure, what lawn I do have, I do want to get one of those, either one of those nice sheds or like the tiny houses. I want to make my podcast, my permanent podcast studio, really do it up nice. That's the goal. And have
So
a
you're going to
smoking
go
room.
outdoors, outside of the
Um,
main house.
yes, outside
It'll
of the
be
main house.
an
Yes, yes.
outbuilding, hopefully not an outhouse.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. That's the goal. I don't particularly I collect entirely too many paper goods for me to have my smoking inside the same
Yeah.
building, So
Listen, you're used to a tent, so it doesn't have to be substantial.
right. I was gonna say, as long as I do better than an ice tent, then I'm doing all right.
I helped a buddy of mine put together one of those plastic sheds, I guess, strictly speaking. But listen, it's sturdy and it keeps stuff out of the weather.
Yeah, I mean, there's the plastic ones, but I saw one on somebody. It was Noah who comes on the show periodically with me. He sent me an Instagram reel, and for like $12,500, which, let's be real, when you're looking at buying a house, what's another $12,500?
Sure.
For $12,500, you can get the kit to put together and assemble like a wood it's essentially a 2-story, but I'd say it's 1 story with a loft, tiny house,
Oh yeah.
and so, I mean, dude, this thing would be perfect because I'd have some storage up top if I wanted, or I could put, whatever up there. I'd have the whole main room for, recording and
Yeah,
lounging.
you got to account for site preparation too.
Oh,
I
well,
don't know
yeah,
if you would pour a slab for it or not
probably.
bother. Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
I don't, you got to
there's a
keep it stable.
shed company out here called Reed's Ferry. They used to have a commercial, saying, "Don't get one of those cheap sheds made of fall particle board. Get
Yeah,
a Reed's Ferry. You got a good one."
you got a good one.
Yeah, not fall particle board. Stay away from that.
I will stay away from that. But yeah, that's the goal. Is I want to get something nice like that put together. So,
I think that would be amazing.
well, because I'm jealous as hell of your setup because you don't have to take apart and put together all of your setup every time. You have
Yeah.
everything set the way you want it. You walk in, you sit down, you turn it on, and you go. You don't have to dick with anything. So,
Except for the Cigar Expo, I think I spent the better part of 8 weeks getting ready for that thing.
so that kind of leads us into the topic for today. That was a fine segue there,
I
Ed.
know what I'm doing over
You're
here.
professional. So that was a good segue. So I want to talk about kind of the behind the scenes prep work of what goes into the Cigar Authority, because you guys, obviously you have everything planned out quite a ways, not just for guest coordination and cigar coordination for the show packs and this and that and whatever, but I'm sure there's a lot on your end that you have to take into account as well. So
Yeah, I have to show up. I mean, that's the hardest part for me.
Hey, I mean,
You
I
know
get
how
that.
that is.
I do get that. Yeah. So,
Well, it's funny you mentioned it. So I pulled up to have a look at. I can refer to it here. Is Dave sends out a calendar of shows.
okay.
And right now, this runs out to January 18th of next year.
Wow. So you guys from today, so we're like beginning of June here, are scheduled out all the way until mid-January of next year.
There's a couple of gaps in here, and he tends to leave some gaps because, a guest that we don't know is going to be in town.
Yeah.
If something needs to be shuffled, you want some space to plug the other things into. But, aside from a few gaps in here, yeah, we're scheduled to January 18th.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and then part of that obviously comes into play with scheduling events at the stores and
the
the expo and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we're in heavy guest mode right now because nobody comes to New Hampshire in the winter, right? The cigar people right now in the summertime, they're trying to get away from the heat, so they think it's great to come up here in the summertime.
Okay.
So last week we had Eric Newman escaping from Tampa. This coming week we've got Eduardo Fernandez from Aganorsa. He's either escaping from Nicaragua or Miami. I don't know where he's
Well,
living at the
that's
moment.
an interesting choice of words, escaping from Nicaragua these days. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
then the following week we've got Rainier Lorenzo in to visit us. So this has
okay.
been heavy guest rotation.
No,
But
I can understand that. I mean, when you guys are buried underneath snow and ice, you don't want a bunch of people, or nobody wants to come up there and deal with that. So that makes a lot of sense.
nobody
So
does. I mean, I think a key difference is, listen, your show has light structure to it. Let's call it that.
that's one way of putting it.
I mean, Cigar Authority is more highly structured. Um, you were up at one point. Were you on the main show or the after show? I
I
can't
was the
remember.
main show,
Main show.
and then I think the after show as well.
Yeah, they may not have given it to you, but there are show notes that Dave prepares for
I did
every
not.
episode.
I did not get the show notes.
Yeah. So the show notes runs 2 pages, and then Dave has all his supplemental material because he'll do a couple hours of show prep right after the show we finish for the following week, when he
Okay.
comes up with all his fun facts
Yeah.
and all of that, where he reads from a page and then yells at Jonathan for reading from a page.
We'll see, and that's that's what I was just sitting here thinking. I was like, wait, 2.5 pages of show notes or 2 pages of show notes. I'm like, that's all fine and good, except for the fact that you're the only one out of the three that can read properly.
that can be challenging.
That can be an issue. It's like, what that
Yeah,
seems counterproductive, but whatever.
I've had fielded requests for me to take on more of the reading, but it's part of the charm of the show.
I think so.
Yeah. Nobody wants to miss Dave's mangling of the English language, the Spanish language.
The last one I listened to. I haven't. I'll admit I've been behind. I haven't listened to the Eric Newman episode yet, but it was the one prior to that. There were a few words that he mangled in that, and I was like in my car yelling at the radio, like, "I think you mean," and and I think you're the one who came up with one of them, like, "I think you mean."
Sometimes I do it. Sometimes I don't bother. If he's on a roll, it's like John Belushi, right?
Just let him go.
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? You got to let him go.
Just let him go. Let him go.
Oh yeah, and I did want to reiterate that nothing I say on this podcast can be used for cigar bingo.
Oh yes,
because
yes,
this
yes.
isn't the main Cigar Authority.
This is not the main show. Yeah, so no. So put your bingo cards
whatever
away
I want.
Yeah, exactly. We could talk about butter on a Pop-Tart all day long if you want to.
Yes, we could. I could say Dan Davison, his full name, Chef Charlie, full name. I mean,
trying to think of what I have on my bingo card in there. I haven't looked at it yet in a little bit.
I mean, there's a few crazy ones that I'm looking at saying, we would never say that. Like, there are words you just wouldn't say.
Well, but he was saying how, like, some of them he's got on the card because he knew with the shows coming up that it may come up.
Right.
Like bocce ball, I think was one that he kept repeating. Yeah. So
although, before we launched it, right before Dave saying, okay, we got to be careful not to have somebody win right away. So be careful what you're saying so we don't use them. By the end of the show, 14 words have been used already. And that was us trying not to.
Trying not to. Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic. Well, so okay, so that's part of what goes into it. So in terms of you on the technical side of things, I mean, obviously there's got to be the coordination in terms of the show notes helping you out in terms of knowing like when to press various drops and things
absolutely.
of that nature.
That's all laid out. Every segment is laid out, and that will be color coded in green because there's money associated with it. So what that means is, if it's a sponsored segment, we have to do it. People paid for it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So other pieces of it can sort of move out if we're running behind, but the green stuff we know. We got to get to the green.
Got to get to those.
Absolutely.
And then in terms of like, special prep work, for example, Mr. Jonathan did the birthday song for Dave recently. Like, what's the
Yeah,
lead time up on anything like that?
it can be as much as a week or 5 minutes. Sometimes I'll just be sitting in Dave's office and he'll say, hey, I wrote this thing. Let's go record it. We'll just go into the studio and record it. Then generally, I'll go find some music for it and then mix it. I prefer to mix at home where I have my real setup. Although
Yeah.
it depends if it's a commercial that we're gonna stick with. I
Yeah.
want that to be of a better quality, like a Mr. Jonathan song. That's sort of a throwaway. We're using it once or twice. It's not.
Yeah.
Although other times, like the El Baton song,
Yeah, okay. That one
they
stuck around for a little while.
yeah, Dave just gave me the finished product. I think he just pressed play on
Yeah, it's
Dave's grandson James. I think that's another one on the bingo card.
yeah.
I think he just pressed play on the toy and sang while he recorded it on his iPhone.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounded like a voice memo file,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it did. And you should have heard it before I did some processing on it. It was even worse, because
Well, it doesn't sound like Drew was too big of a fan of it because now you're, playing the ad about the El Relo factory.
I couldn't get Eric to throw Drew under the bus. I said, so what happened? Did Drew listen to it and say that's ridiculous? He just didn't bother answering me.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But I mean, Drew's a serious young man.
hey, and they've sunk a lot of money into that factory, so I understand,
Yeah,
promote it. I mean, make a big deal out of it. And truthfully, it kind of makes a little bit more sense to promote the factory than any one of their various cigars for, in
yeah,
terms of having like an evergreen ad, on your show. So,
yeah. It's true.
whatever.
I don't know. I've never made it to that factory yet. I got to get
Oh,
there.
you should go. Yeah.
Mm.
That it's a neat tour. I actually was really fortunate enough to take that tour. Like, was it 2 weeks, 3 weeks? It was a short period of time right before they started the public tours.
Ah,
And so like I guess I was kind of like the one of the test runs. And it was a great time. I mean, we went all over the place in that factory and saw all kinds of neat stuff. And then I
did you see
embarrassed.
the super secret Cuban tobacco?
Oh yes, yes.
Oh
They,
yes.
they have that on full display actually. But then I did embarrass myself. I asked one of the nice ladies that was up in the American rolling room where the bathroom was, and for whatever reason I called upon the 2 years of high school Spanish that I hadn't used in
Oh,
forever, and instead of, because she did not speak any English, and so
did you ask her where the beer was by mistake, or?
I didn't ask for the baño, which I believe is the bathroom. I
Yeah.
asked for la basura, which I
Huh.
believe is the trash can.
Huh.
So, you know, she's like looking at me like I'm a moron, and I'm like, I don't know.
I am a moron.
I am a moron, but I have to pee, So it was. I don't know if she thought I was gonna pee in the trash can or what, but yeah, it
Didn't
was
work
rough.
out.
But no, it didn't work out. But anyway, no, you ought to make it to that while you're down there. And actually, he's working on that bed and breakfast
Oh
across
yeah.
the street.
We talked
So
about that on the show.
that'll
At
be
one point, it was a brothel.
really.
He
I
would
don't
not
think
commit to
I
bringing
was.
that
I was
back.
gonna say he's not bringing that back, huh?
No,
Okay.
no.
Well,
We talked about the bats.
I'm so amused at the prospect that they had to rehouse 10,000 bats.
It's
I don't
crazy,
know.
right?
It is kind of crazy. It's like you wouldn't think that would be a problem, but there it is. I
Eric
mean,
said they had to get a Batman.
They shine a light up in the Tampa sky and
Yeah,
just hope
not the
somebody would
Batman,
show
but
up.
a
Okay.
Batman.
Between the bats and all the chickens, because Drew's big into the whole
Right.
Ybor City chicken,
Sure.
rescue thing too. That was what was that? That was the hurricane of 22 when Tampa was looking like it was going to get hit by that hurricane real hard. I remember that Drew worked with everybody to round up all the wild chickens in Ybor City and house them, during the
Oh,
storm. So
God.
it's some of this weird, bizarre stuff that you hear, and it's like, well, okay,
Yeah,
I
some
guess
of these
somebody's got
things
to
are
do it.
important to the locals,
I mean, I'll tell you, it's a weird feeling sitting out there in one of the cigar shops, sitting out on the sidewalk with your, cafe con leche and your cigar, watching the world go by, and there goes a rooster just strutting down the street.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's an odd feeling.
You
So,
see all of that in Miami too.
oh, okay. See, I've never been to Miami.
Oh, I see, that's worth a trip. Chef
Yeah.
Charlie and I went down there, not this past December, the year before, and we just visited people.
Mm-hmm.
We went to see Nick Perdomo, and Justo was on our tour, and then
I would.
we also went to see Terrence
Oh,
Riley.
there you go. I
Yeah,
would think December would be a good time to do that.
it really was, although I don't think Chef liked the Miami drivers.
Yeah, that's true. My dad lived down in Fort Lauderdale for a while,
Mm.
and yeah, it you get a little bit of bleed over in
Hmm.
that regard. And I know we went down to Miami. We didn't go to the city itself. We went on like a little island just off of there, like a park or something like that. Anyway, and oh yeah, the drivers were
Yeah, I mean,
they were rough.
we were actually being good citizens and crossing with the light, and almost got run over by a delivery truck where the driver was eating a bowl of pasta. I mean, he had it in an actual bowl and he was eating pasta while he's
See, at least Dave can do that with his self-driving Tesla.
to a
You
point.
know, to a point.
It's
Yeah.
supposed to be supervised self-driving.
uh I yeah, well, I mean, Dave would be all on board with eating some pasta while he's driving though.
Oh yeah, I got an
Yeah.
email from him this morning with the subject toothless in New Hampshire.
Oh God.
Well, he had a tooth pulled yesterday.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm like, where is this going? Because there's some areas near me that there's definitely some toothless people, if
I
but
mean, I
it's
can't get
caused by
to
meth. So,
I can't get to the bottom of the tooth story. He claims, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. They just want to take it.
they don't typically want to take teeth that are perfectly fine.
I said, well,
So
does he have a boat payment coming up? I mean, what's happening? But
yeah, there's something behind that, but okay,
uh, I,
we'll let that go.
he mentioned bone loss after he said there's nothing wrong with it. So I don't know.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean,
Well,
hopefully he's going to a real professional and they're not just randomly yanking teeth out of his head.
well, he goes to the same dentist as Mr. Jonathan though, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, guess.
yeah. I mean, yeah, a
Yeah. I mean,
Jonathan
I
person.
was gonna
Well,
say it's a Jonathan person. I don't know, but
yeah, that makes
yeah,
it suspect right from the get-go.
it kind of does. So, um, okay, so going back to the Cigar Authority, I like this. We're just all
We
over the place
drift
for a minute.
everywhere, but that's fine.
Exactly. That
That's what
that's
you
what.
do when you smoke
Well,
cigars.
see, that's what people get from my show. People get a nice structure from yours, and from mine, they get what they
Yeah.
get.
Right. What do they tell
um,
the kids? You get what you get and you don't
yeah,
get upset.
exactly. Well, they're getting what they pay for. Let's put it that way.
There is that, right?
There is that. Um, no, and so it's just one of those things I wanted to emphasize just how much work actually goes into your show because, you know, despite the fact that, I kind of shoot from the hip a lot of times, um, there is there is some thought that goes into this. I mean, like
there has to be, right?
Yeah,
You need some sort of at least an outline of topics to talk about.
for sure. I mean,
And
I
then,
sent you a text an
yeah,
hour and a half ago, with a few ideas, but it's something.
no, and then,
Um,
I'm sure when you do the solo shows, you've got to have some
oh,
kind of an outline at least that you're working from,
well,
if not something more detailed.
that's why, to be honest, I messaged you at, whatever time in the morning or
Because you
night
had
it was,
nothing.
because I did sit around for about an hour, just like, what am I gonna do? Because I had every intention of trying to do this, solo, just to
Right.
get it out, and that was not happening. I just there was no way that was happening, and yeah.
No, it does take more work than it looks like, right? And
Oh my God, yeah, and well, and to your point, we've talked about you know, with the solo shows, how I have the pregnant pauses and things of that nature. That's
right.
eating at me the whole freaking time I'm doing
I,
it, and
I shouldn't have
you
mentioned
know,
it, although
well, no,
others might have.
no, you didn't have to mention it. I knew it already, and it was bothering me already. So, it is just one of those things that, I mean, I couldn't possibly, keep it up. I can't do it all the time, and nobody
No,
wants to listen to it all the time.
listen,
So
and that that's somewhat unique to a cigar show, right? If you were doing some other topic, you could just keep talking. You're not doing other
ex-
things.
exactly. But
And
unfortunately, in this case,
listen,
um,
it's all tougher too if you are the host and the producer of the show.
well, yeah, because you gotta you gotta actually pay attention to what you're doing. You gotta have the board set up. You gotta. Speaking of which, this is. Yes,
Mm.
that is recording. Good.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Well, I can't see we were talking right before.
yeah,
The board is in the sun, so I can't see the screen to know if it's going right and everything. And
right.
it's goofy shit. And I mean, yeah, there's some goofy shit that happens in my life that I could tell little stories about, but that'll take like 5 minutes. I mean, what was it? The last one I did. Which one was it that I did by myself? It was the one about turning, making like a smoking area in your house, like
Yep.
like building it, and I did research. I'm looking stuff up online, how to do this and everything. Fucking, I get done talking about it, and the timer on the video is saying like 14 minutes, and I'm like, son of a bitch, like that wasn't anywhere near as long as I thought it was going to end up being. So now I'm having to
Uh,
stretch that out and whatever. So, and I
well,
mean, yeah.
now they got those self-contained cigar rooms too. Have you seen those?
I have seen those, and
Mm.
actually, I had a gentleman reach out and try to come onto the show about it, and he caught me at the worst possible time in life.
Usually you're dying to have somebody come on the
Yeah, I
show.
know, right? But no, he caught me at a really bad time of life at the moment, and unfortunately, I don't think. Well, we definitely didn't connect, and I haven't heard from him in a while, so I hope I didn't like completely piss him off. But yeah, but no. But those things, I think we're talking, what was it? It was like 10 grand or
Mm.
something like that to have one of those put in.
Not inexpensive, and then you're
No,
putting it inside of another room essentially.
which then leads me to the question of how do you then expel the smoke from the smoking room into, but I guess if I would have had him on the show, I'd have that answer.
Yeah, see, now you don't know.
Now I have no idea. Um,
Yeah, it just seems when you get into that price point, your approach is probably better. Add an outbuilding.
for
That
sure, because then, if, for resale purposes down the road someday, somebody could look at it and be like, oh, this would make a great, like, mother-in-law suite or something like
Mhm.
that. It's like you have other options for it instead
Put
of
my mother-in-law in the shed.
in the smoking shed. Well, I mean, look, I
Uh,
can think of at least a couple guys that probably would like to put a mother-in-law in their shed. Anyway,
we have a special place for you in our home.
yeah,
Well, not in our home, but
yeah, it's
adjacent.
adjacent. It's in the backyard. It's not a doghouse per se, but
No.
it's nicer than that. Um, I don't know. Um, No, and so yeah, so that's to the
But
point though. There's a lot of things that go into this
well,
that
yeah, and
people just don't understand.
when you stop recording, you've still got more work to do. On
For
Cigar
sure.
Authority, they all vacate and they're gone, and I'm left sitting there to, make it happen.
I know how that goes.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
see, and with the Zoom ones, I mean, look, one of the things I want to upgrade when I do get an actual like permanent studio space is I want to actually have a better like communication method than Zoom, because
Yeah.
Zoom sucks. I mean, admittedly,
Well,
Zoom sucks.
and I would imagine you'd like better internet though.
Oh, for
But
sure.
not for the
You know,
show. It's when you have to upload video.
yes.
It takes a
Oh my,
long
it
time.
takes forever. And so part of my problem is with the way I have everything set up right now, um, in terms of recording. So like let's say you were actually here physically.
Yeah.
I would be recording on the iPad, but because of the various ports and things of nature that I have on the board, um, although I guess I probably could. I don't know. That's weird. And I'll have to figure that out. I may have actually just thought of my solution as I was talking this through, which I kind of hate, but at the same time, it's because I'm about to bitch about it. But what I've been doing is, in order to make sure the audio on the video is done properly, I take the video and I take the audio track and I put them into iMovie and sync them up,
Yeah.
and drop the video audio and just use the audio track that is the podcast, the audio
Right.
version of the podcast, and then I upload that. Well, my God, it takes hour and a half to export from
Right.
iMovie. Then it takes however long to import and upload to YouTube. So that's why the YouTube version is usually a lot later than
Yeah.
the audio.
No,
So
you got over 2 hours, 2+ hours after you're done to get things in place. We've got it fairly down to a science. I can be out of there in 20 minutes.
well, because you live stream to YouTube and Facebook
And
and
Rumble.
Rumble. So those
Right.
videos, they're just live streamed, and as soon as they're completed, those platforms just kind of do whatever processing and then just release them, right?
They're done at that point. And
Okay.
at the same time, I'm recording the video locally with
Mm-hmm.
OBS. So when we're done, I just strip the audio out of there, do some processing on it, and upload to Podbean, and I'm done.
Yeah. Well, see,
Not,
that's easy.
That's easy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds a lot easier than what I'm doing, but but I don't go live because, and part of the reason I don't go live is because, just my life and my schedule doesn't allow me to have like the set designated day and time,
Yeah.
which would probably be easier for me if I could pull that off, but things happen.
Although there's still an advantage, even if it's not at the same time every week.
Yeah.
You don't have to upload it. It's already there.
Well, that's true. I would say it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it'll be.
That's kind of exactly it. It's like, I get done with some of specifically the solo shows, and I'm sitting there and I'm just like, yeah, that wasn't the best effort, but it'll do. It's like, that'll do. We'll move.
Yeah.
The next one will be better, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you got to let it go.
Yeah. So, well, fun. Now, one of the things that I had mentioned to you in the text was that in the last episode that I did, fucking Jerry Pulaski and I did our top 5 of 2024, kind of a midway review for the year.
Right.
And his were all gas station cigars, but that's appropriate for him. Apparently the the Black and Mild wine infused cigar pairs really well with Walmart Great Value brand Drano.
Oh, well, nice.
That's what I was told, So anyway, so for what it's worth, there's that.
Did you have better ones?
I did. So I sent you my list.
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask what yours were. So I had the McAuliffe Blue, the Perdomo 30th Anniversary Sun Grown, the Blackened S84, the Blackbird Superb, and the West Tampa Tobacco Belichi Boulevard.
Oh,
Now,
yes.
2 of those technically came out in 23, but
What besides the Perdomo, the Belichi?
the Belichi, I thought that
Yeah.
came out late
I think it
23.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? I had made my list and we had overlap on 2 of them,
Okay.
the Perdomo 30th and the McAuliffe Blue.
Okay.
I think those will appear on a lot of lists. I mean, Perdomo, some may forget just
Well,
because
yeah,
it
because
came
it did.
out late in 23.
Yeah.
But the other one that I've really been enjoying is Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, the bronze back.
Okay.
That's the new Umbagog.
Okay.
One size, I think it's might be a 6x48, something in that range, or 5 and change.
Okay.
Also, and I'm smoking quite a few of these, the La Giana 30th anniversary. You know, so
Those are the torpedo, or I'm sorry,
barber pole.
barber pole, right? Okay.
Maybe the best barber pole I ever smoked. It's really a very good cigar. And
Really?
yeah, that one has a bit more oomph to it than the standard La Giana line. So I
Okay.
find those are great for a change up for me.
Now that was a limited edition cigar, correct?
Correct. So it can't be
Okay.
on Cigar Authority, but it can be on mine.
Well, yeah. I just didn't know. I'm like sitting here. I'm like, are they gonna still be around when I get up there in September, or should I go
No.
ahead and tack some on to my June care or well, I
Ah,
guess it would technically be it'd be my June care package. So
add a couple in there. You'll like them.
okay,
Very
okay,
nice cigar. And then I've also been liking the HVC Selection 1 Connecticut. Right.
okay,
They had the other ones out before then, but the Connecticut is new.
okay.
And there's one I haven't smoked yet, but I'm anticipating I'm gonna like it, which is the HVC Half Corona Connecticut. Just shipped last week, I think.
Okay.
And
Well, that's your size.
I've been smoking a lot of the Maduro ones. I think I've smoked 12 boxes of those so
Oh my
far.
gosh.
Well, they're little, you know.
It's true. They are little, but are those boxes of 50?
No, 25s.
25. Okay. Because they do have some boxes of 50 at
Yeah.
HVC, right? Okay. All right.
Yeah, usually the Black Friday comes out in a box of 50.
Okay. Okay.
But
I was like, surely I'm not making that up, but all right.
no, that half Corona though, box of 25, I think it's $108.
That's not bad at all.
No. No,
No.
sub $5. I mean, it's a half Corona, but it's a very good one.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, no. Interesting. I'll have to see if there's some of those available when I tack on the La Gianas to my care package. Boy, I was talking about that. Speaking of another solo show topic, was saving money at your cigar shop while still supporting your brick and mortar. And boy, tacking on stuff to that care package.
I mean, it's a great benefit of that care package.
Yeah, free shipping. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't beat that.
No, and then especially if it's singles you want to try, you just, add them to the care package.
And I mean, that's what I ended up doing. Which, by the way, this Garofalo Family Reserve Sun Grown, I have you to thank for me having the box of these.
Really?
Because you, the last time you were on, told me about how the points program was changing and all that. So I reached out.
It was only a couple days till it ended, I think.
It was something like that, but I reached out and I was able to get a box of these for I think it was like $60 I paid for the box.
Yeah, I mean it's remarkable if it's one of Dave's products that's on the list of things, and usually it takes it to half price.
Yeah.
So often for me, I tend to go with the $100 off, for 1,000 points. But every now and then, I think you can get more than 100 off of Bandolero. So
Okay.
sometimes I
Yeah.
think, well, I'm going to get a box of Bandolero, smoke some nice cigars.
I went for quantity. I mean, not
Yeah.
that I'm saying these aren't quality, but I mean, I definitely was going for quantity. And then I ended up with, I think it was a little over 300 points left. So I ended up just getting 3 of the Vertigo lighters, because
Which
the Cyclones, because why not? I mean, I can
that
always use those.
that may equate to a lifetime supply. Those things just keep going and
They
going.
disappear in my place. I know when I finally end up finishing packing and moving out of here, I'm going to have probably about a dozen of those things that I have
Yeah.
found all over the place before it's all said and
Yeah.
done. And then inevitably I'll lose them again.
I
So,
noticed the other day I had 5 empty ones in my car.
God, I know for a fact I have at least 2 in my car.
Yeah.
There might be more buried underneath some stuff in my center console, but I know, but visually I can see 2 of them in the little dish in front of my gear shift. So
You've got others.
yeah, oh, I know. There's 2 in the little change cup inside on the counter. There's 2 more in the 2 guys bag from when they got shipped to me with the care package. There's this one sitting. I mean, so I can think of at least 7 of them around here. And like I said, I know there are more that I just have lost, and they'll pop up at some point. So
Well, on the points, every now and then I'd get a Lotus Jaws cutter as well.
mm,
Those things stay sharp forever.
I don't have one of those. I
Oh,
just
they're
use this
very
Calibri.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Calibri makes a fine cutter.
I like my Calibri.
Well,
I like
then I
my
think you should stick with it. I'm not trying to talk you out of it.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that.
Is that the giant one that goes
It's
both
that
ways?
yeah, the SV that goes
The
it goes both
the
ways.
Jonathan.
It's the Jonathan. In fact, I even got the same damn color because I liked, he got it, I'm sure, because it's rose gold. I got it because it is it's a different color that you don't see often. And if you're sitting around, you know, everybody has their lighters and cutters out
Yeah.
and everything, there's no mistaking which one is mine. I mean,
No,
yeah,
I always found that one to be bulky in the pocket. You
it
know.
is a little bit.
Yeah.
It is, admittedly.
Yeah.
Um,
And
yeah, I do
listen,
find it weighs the pants down a little bit.
he talks about and it catches all the schmuckus, but yeah, for a while, then you forget, and the next time you use it, your
Yeah.
schmuckus is everywhere.
No, I've nuked myself a handful of times where, I don't clear the chamber right away. And
No.
next thing you know, you go to cut a cigar and shit just goes flying
Well,
everywhere.
you're just
So
deferring the mess.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know. Boy, okay, so total conversation pivot here for a moment.
All right,
I have to tell
we're pivoting every which way.
we are. I have to tell you a story that happened just earlier today. As I ran and grabbed myself a little bit of lunch before our call here, and I ran up to the little local Chinese place, got myself a little carry out.
What
And
number? Did it have a number?
what the meal?
Yeah, usually the luncheon specials.
Oh
I have a number 8.
no, I don't know if it had.
No.
I just ordered the pineapple chicken. I don't know if it had a number or
Huh.
not, but
All right.
the name of the place is 88 China, so the whole restaurant is, number 88. But
8s
whatever.
are good, I think.
I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I wondered how they came up with that name. But so I'm leaving this place, and as I'm walking out, and I wrote this down so that I would make sure I remembered it because it was such a moment. As I'm walking out, there's these 2 women talking at this table, and the door is propped open so they can let some fresh air in and stuff. And I'm right on the threshold of the door walking out, and I hear the one lady rather loudly say to her friend, it's one of those things where, they're talking and you can hear them talking, but you're not really processing what they're saying. But then all of a sudden something kind of clicks and you hear precisely what this woman says. And your brain has to catch up. And I hear her say, quote, "Not always. Sometimes the IBS is way different."
Oh boy.
And she said that, and I know she had to have known that I heard it because as I crossed the threshold of the restaurant out onto the sidewalk and my brain processed, that she literally was talking about how her IBS is way different sometimes. Um,
Yeah, it's when she goes to that restaurant.
yeah, I guess I could not help myself. It's one of those times where the filter between the brain and the mouth just disappeared. And I just said, what the fuck? Like, just like full volume, just like at no, I didn't care. I just was like, what the fuck? And I just kept walking because I'm like trying to process, like, how is the IBS hitting different? Like, I'm pretty
Sometimes
sure
it hits different. Yeah.
I guess, but I'm like, but now I'm curious. So if any of my listeners are afflicted with the IBS, I mean, shoot me an email and let me know. Does the IBS hit different sometimes? Because like I'm very curious. This lady has prompted a curiosity in me that I'm curious about. Not enough that I want to go and Google because I'm afraid of what the Google ads will result in. But I am very curious as to how the IBS could hit differently. Anyway, sorry, that was
Man,
just a random
that's
life
odd.
occurrence. It
Yeah.
weird shit tends to happen to me sometimes. I mean, admittedly less in the last little over a year, which has kind of
Huh.
been nice in some regard, but still nonetheless, weird shit tends to find me. But yeah, the IBS hitting different, that's prompted some questions that I'm curious about. So
I'm not
anyway,
sure. You may not get answers on that.
I may not. I should have asked her. I should have just turned right around and been like, all right,
All
I
right.
have to
I gotta
know.
know.
I gotta know. How does the IBS hit differently? But
Oh.
I had my pineapple chicken and I needed to eat that before I got on the Zoom with you.
And how
So,
was the pineapple chicken?
it was all right. It wasn't
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
It's basically like the little sweet and sour, chicken nugget things, but with
Sure.
pineapple and green pepper and like the little sweet pineapple
Huh.
sauce, and everything. It was delightful.
So there were lectins involved.
There were definitely lectins
Yeah.
involved.
That's all right.
Definitely some lectins involved. Um, but the pink pineapples are out in the grocery stores. Have you had one of those?
No, should I?
Um,
I mean, are they better or it's just a color thing or?
all right. I'll get into this for a moment. I do like them better. They're $10 a piece,
Ooh.
and they come in their little box. So I mean, they're not exactly a cheap date,
Mhm.
but they are better because they're a little sweeter and a little less acidic. They have a little less
Ah,
of that pineapple
so
like bite to it,
right, it's like the grapefruit thing. You're taking the ruby red every time, right?
Precisely. So in
Yeah.
this case, you want the pink pineapple.
All
Now,
right.
if you eat too much of it, it's still going to eat away at your mouth and you're going to have, pain
Yeah,
for a
that's the
couple
problem.
days.
I mean, it's delicious, but
Yeah.
and it's hard to stop eating it.
Yeah, you can't eat it for like
Very
the
acidic.
whole. Yeah, yeah. But in terms of the pink versus the yellow, I would go with the pink over the
All right.
yellow, actually.
I may try
Um
one. I don't know if they
I,
got that at the market basket.
they had it at the Deerbergs here, which
All
that's
right.
one of our like,
Trashier grocery chains.
it's everywhere. It's one
Yeah.
of the like,
Yeah.
kind of chain things. So yeah, um
Hmm.
but yeah, that's not a bad one. I got into weird fruit or weird colored fruit last summer for a little while. Between the pink pineapple, there was
Aren't
the
there like golden watermelons or
yeah,
something?
the yellow and the orange
Mm,
watermelons
right.
actually. And those are really good. I think I liked the orange one the best.
Ah,
It was just a little sweeter than
all
the
right.
others. I'm a sucker for watermelon though. And then the yellow dragon fruit,
Oh yeah.
not the pink one.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty
All right.
tasty.
So it's not a particular color. You just want the different color,
Yeah, yeah. I'm just curious about like the different colored
the
fruits, like
non-standard color.
precisely. Like if
Hmm.
somebody came to me and said, "Here's a purple kiwi," I'd try it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Right.
So
Right. So do you like
anyway,
some of those heirloom tomatoes that just look a mess?
I don't know. I can't say as I've ever sat and just actually ate one of those,
Hmm.
just to try it. So
What about cherry tomato? They got the yellow ones on those, I think.
yeah, yeah, those aren't bad. I think those kind of just generally taste like the red ones, but
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, I mean, not a lot of difference. And that's
No.
the thing. The difference in these are very subtle,
Hmm.
um, but it's there. It's
Yeah.
present. So,
Of course it's there. Some people say all cigars taste the same. That's not true.
and they totally don't. They
No.
totally don't. Well, okay, so I'm coming up on the final third of this one. I do
Wow.
have another one sitting here just in
Oh,
case.
smart. I think I've got a backup too.
So what have you what are you getting? You're a much slower smoker than I am. What are
Yeah.
you getting on the Olmec?
The Olmec. You know, this Olmec I find is maybe one of the closer things you'll find to Padron. Having said that, nothing tastes like Padron, so
True.
don't even think you're getting the
No, I
same
know.
thing.
Everybody's like, "Oh, it's just like Padron." But yeah, no, you're right.
No, but it's got, you know, good Nicaraguan filler, San Andreas wrapper, although Padron claims not to. And Nick lists it as such, and much like the Padron, it seems like what distinguishes the Maduro on this one is just it's a darker wrapper. Although I think when
Okay.
I talked to him at the show at the time, he may have said it's different primings
Ah, okay.
or the Maduro versus this one, which I don't know if he calls it the natural or whatever. The not Maduro, we'll call it. Yeah, no, I enjoy these. I don't smoke a ton of them. You know, they're not always available. So when I see them, I pick up a box and then just work them into the rotation.
For
But
sure.
it's a good
No,
cigar.
nobody around by me carries them. I've found them at one random place that is on the way back from Indianapolis. When I'm coming back from visiting my dad, I'll stop at this place, and they tend to carry them. But they only carry that double Corona size. So
Huh.
I think the last time I was there, I bought two. I know I've smoked one, but I'm like 99% sure I still have one more chilling in the humidor that I could smoke. But yeah, no, you're right. It does have a very Padron-ish kind of quality to
Right.
it, but not quite exactly the same.
No,
Um,
and listen, Padrones are good cigars. I'm just not a huge fan.
mhm.
Nothing wrong with them, a lot right with them, but not quite
I,
my flavor profile.
they hit once in a while. Like every once
Mm.
in a while, I'm like, I'm gonna smoke that, and I always enjoy it. It's one of those things. It's
Yeah.
not like I ever have a bad experience
And I
with
still
it,
like
but
the 1964 anniversary. I
yep,
don't need
yep.
26 or any of the other things, whatever all the numbers are.
I want to know when Dave's getting in the what was it, the 50th anniversary? No, not the 50th anniversary. The Was it the
Uh,
60th anniversary? The one that he
uh,
ordered at the trade show and
yeah, the
didn't know
one
how
that
the
we
the
can't know what.
price.
Last I heard, and I talked to him about it within the last week, and the price is still not known.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Well,
which strikes me as strange, right?
that is
They've
very
got to
bizarre.
know what their cost is at this point. So are they
Well,
just sitting around thinking, well, how much extra can we get for
yeah,
this?
yeah. How much can we get for this? Which does kind of make you wonder, like, if that's the case, why are they even taking orders at the trade show for it? Why
Right.
not just put it off a year and do it in
Yeah.
New Orleans next year?
I don't know. I feel a little better about cigar companies that price their cigars based on what it actually costs them to make it.
Yeah, and not. Hey, how much hype
Right.
can we build up to do this?
Is
Um,
this a $20 story or a $40 story?
and if we partner with Fuente, we can make this a $200 story
Oh,
or
come on, they
whatever
were
it. I
170 something.
Okay,
Whatever.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm
don't
doing
be
I'm doing
exaggerating.
Dave math. I'm rounding up. Which okay, that's funny to me. Now that we bring that up, you're right. Today, this is the 39th year. He told me to say 40 years in the cut.
Hmm.
So does that mean that,
We round up now?
I was gonna say if we're going based off the strengthometer,
Right, because he's
are we
probably at
rounding up?
like 39.5 or 6, and he's
Yeah,
rounding
and
up.
well, technically he's at 38 point. What are we? 3 months away, so 38.9 out of if well, 38.7 maybe.
Oh,
So
well,
he's not even at 39.
you're
So
going to enjoy the Eric Newman episode because we were smoking it. It wasn't El Baton, it was Perla Del Mar.
Okay.
Dave got to his strength and said to Eric, well, Eric, you go first. What's the strength of this cigar?
Oh, Lord.
Eric says 4.8. And I know he did it on purpose because he
Well, yeah, because
listens to the
Eric
show all the
listens. He knows
time.
exactly what.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. I love that.
4.8.
4.8. So did you guys settle on 4.8? You should have settled on 4.8.
Jonathan and I also said 4.8. Eric nailed it, but Dave said it doesn't go on. Jonathan said this is the guy who made it. It's 4.8. No,
he's so set on the defined numbers. I find that to be so funny. Anyway. Okay. Well, here, why don't we go ahead and get into this now? It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by Villiger. Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. You know, and speaking of Villiger, I was on a conference call on Friday with the what I'm calling the PulpitFest Brain Trust, and we had Renee. Yeah, I know it's my dad and Ken from Ash and Ale down in Florida. So like the three of us are organizing this.
I loved the episode with your dad.
Oh, yeah, we have fun. He has two topics that he keeps threatening to bring up. He never brings them up, you know.
Things to embarrass you.
Well, I think he knows that they're going to be controversial, and so you know he's letting them go for right now. But one of these days, I'm going to catch him in just the right mood, and he's going to be like, "Why don't we tax churches?" You know, but we'll leave that be. That can be his thing. But no, but we had a nice conference call with Renee Castaneda, the president of Villiger North America, and talking all about kind of how they envision integrating Villiger into the event and everything like that. And guys, I'm just saying, if you're coming to Pulpit Fest, you have absolutely no idea what's in store for you. And I mean, this is bigger than I even imagined. Let's just put it this way: there's going to be a raffle for one hell of a prize, and before it's all said and done, if you're interested in this prize, which you should be, make sure you have your passport prepped and ready. Wow. That's all I'm saying. Anybody who wants to be in this raffle, I'm giving fair warning now. It's June. You have plenty of time.
Do you? I just checked passport renewals. They were talking 13 to 18 weeks.
That's what, 4
months roughly. So they should get on it.
Get on it now, because you're going to need it very beginning of 25. Let's put it that way. But if you win. But let me tell you, you're gonna wanna have your passport ready for this prize, because it's gonna be a big deal. So
you couldn't tell me before so that I could go.
Now I didn't know it. I didn't know until Friday. It's not too late, Ed. I can totally slide you in on the guest list if you want.
David killed me.
I know he would.
I'd have to miss a show.
Well, you'd have to. It's the same weekend as the New Hampshire cigar golf thing.
I don't get involved in that in any way.
Oh, well then what the hell why not come down?
It's a weekend.
I know.
Yeah. Why don't you just have your thing at Two Guys next year, and then I'll be there.
You know, Jonathan suggested that too. So we might. You never know.
Yeah.
Of course, it'd be a month before, the expo.
Yeah. But it's weather-wise, it's not a bad time.
It would not be.
It could be humid in August, but that's all right.
Trust me, it's not going to be any more humid and hot than St. Louis, and it's definitely not going to be hotter than South Florida.
Yeah. I know. As soon as I said that, I thought, oh, well, no, it'll be better.
I mean, that's the thing. We're doing Ken a favor with having it down there at this time of year, because again, I keep saying this, and it sounds stupid for me to keep saying this but it blew my mind when he pointed it out to me, and I never thought of it this way, which is that, for the vast majority of the country, New England and St. Louis, the winter time is the slow time for the cigar shops, but for them, the summertime is the slow time, and that never dawned on me that when it gets to be brutally hot out, that's when they slow down and nobody comes in. But whatever.
Although
So
if
yeah,
you have a
so
lounge, you'd think people might come in to smoke in the air conditioning.
you would think that's what I was thinking, because that's what we do around here is when it gets to be too hot, we just hit the lounge. Same thing as in the wintertime. But to that point, I don't know about, your area, but the lounges in the wintertime here are usually pretty slow. It's just the regulars,
Oh. Yeah, I guess that's true to a point. There's always people there, but summertime tends to be fewer people.
Unknown caller.
Oh. Well, apparently, despite having my phone on vibrate, if I get a phone call, it still comes through. So getting a lot of spam calls lately. I don't know if you guys get those up there or not, but oh my God, the amount of spam calls I'm getting are just outrageous.
I would say lately I get 3 or 4. Here's another one right now.
There you go. So it must have moved on from me to you.
But and I just automatically silence unknown callers.
Yeah, I wait, there's a setting for that? Or you just do it?
No, you got the iPhone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just have it silence them. You got it right there. We can do a public service here.
Yeah, we'll do a public service thing right now. Okay. So I assume I go to settings somehow or somewhere.
I would think.
Well, yeah, I'm in my settings. So where would I go?
We got to find. It's always tricky. They have too many settings. You know that. I know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they do.
It's probably going to be under phone.
Oh, there it is. You're right. Phone, silence unknown callers.
Yeah.
And we'll just toggle that over. And oh my God, I love it so much. Love it.
Yeah, it's a great thing. And then just later on, it'll tell you it silenced them.
Okay. Well, perfect. That's going to be nice.
I like it. Let me warn you about the one place where it gets you in trouble. Is like if you're expecting a call back from a doctor or something.
Oh,
it's probably not in your contacts. So,
and that's true.
So usually I have to remember to toggle that off if I'm expecting a call that may come from somewhere.
Oh, so it has to be a call, a number that's in your contacts,
correct,
for it to ring through. Okay, all right. That's good to know. I will say my little tip for anybody who gets a call like that and it comes up as spam risk or and it's a spam call, I block that number. That way they have to find a different one to call me from.
I've been doing that as these come in, and now I don't know what the limit is on block calls. I think in the last couple of weeks I've probably blocked 30 or 40 numbers.
Yeah, I mean I'm blocking 4 or 5 numbers a day, it seems. Yeah. So yep, it's crazy. Well,
that wasn't the entertainment, though.
That wasn't the entertainment report. So you always usually or you seem to have something good for the entertainment report. Yeah. So what have you got?
I mean, did you watch this thing Sugar?
Sugar? No.
Sugar on Apple TV.
I don't have Apple TV yet.
Right.
That's one that, to be honest, I'm waiting for a time that I have a little bit of time that I can sit and binge because I want to watch Ted Lasso. Oh, yeah. And there's the Tetris movie on there.
I don't know about that.
It's this movie, and it's all about basically the story of how they got the game Tetris out of Russia, because the guy who created it was obviously in Russia, and back at the time, what he created belonged to the country, and the government. And so in order for, Nintendo and the company to get that game and license it for the rest of the world, they had to get permission from the government. And apparently it sounds like a pretty interesting movie, so I wanted to watch it, but it's on Apple TV, and I haven't done so yet.
All that video game stuff. Did you ever watch King of Kong?
Yes, I love that one.
That movie is fantastic, right?
So
It's got
bizarre.
everything, right?
It
You
does.
got love interests, you got an evil guy. It's that one. I didn't watch it
With his
recently, but I can
no,
highly recommend The King
I
of Kong.
agree. There was some controversy about him too, because the guy with the long hair, the evil guy, fuck, I'm drawing. It's been forever since I've watched that. Um, he had a few other high scores that I guess have been put into question from what I've read. This has
Huh.
been a while since I heard about any of this stuff, so I can't
Well,
speak with any sort of authority on it.
what about the Donut King? You ever watch that one?
No.
Oh, very fascinating.
Okay.
You may or may not know that, especially in the LA area, uh, Cambodian Americans were big in the donut business.
I had no idea.
Yes, and this is a documentary about the Donut King, guy by the
Okay.
name of Ted Noy.
Okay. I will have
Yeah.
to look up the Donut King. See,
Fi-
you always give me good stuff. Like the last time you were on, is when you brought up Boiling Point, and I watched that.
Yeah,
And
it's uncomfortable to watch, isn't it?
it's kind of uncomfortable to watch. And man, the ending is just like, holy crap, you know? Um,
Yeah, no redemption. No,
no, it just
no.
kind of like was what it was. And,
Wow.
one of my listeners, Teddy, he reached out and told me, he's like, man, I watched this movie that you guys were talking about, Boiling Point. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, boy, that triggered the hell out of me because he's had heart conditions, and
Mm.
very serious,
Oh boy.
heart stuff that have come up. So when he's like, I got to the end and I was just like, oh, he's like, it brought back a lot of bad memories. And I'm like, sorry, man. I didn't know, but yeah. So,
Well, I think the first season of the series they did is on Netflix now.
okay,
For
okay,
Boiling, it picks up where that left off,
okay,
and I'd say it was good. It was good.
okay.
Well, I'll call it a little more lighthearted, but don't get your hopes up.
It's still not The Bear, which the thing is, I wouldn't even count The Bear as like a super happy show.
No, but it's way happier than
Way
Boiling
happier than
Point.
Boiling Point. That's true.
Uh, I think,
Anyway,
yeah, I think the Bear will have run its course in another season or two.
the newest one I believe is dropping at the end of this month.
Yeah, and I think they've recorded the one, or they're working on the one after. So
Okay.
I, I'm almost hoping that'll be it. Those
Yeah.
things don't get better with age.
Typically not.
No.
It's very rare that a show can go multiple seasons and still retain its quality at the end.
Yeah, so
Um,
this sugar thing,
yes, I was going to
right?
ask. So sugar.
Yeah.
What is sugar?
Colin Farrell is in it.
I love Colin Farrell.
Well, he's a detective, and it's got a
Okay.
film noir quality to it. And
Okay.
he's searching for a missing woman, and everything is good. And maybe I should issue a spoiler alert because I have to rant about something.
Okay. All right. So if you're interested in watching Sugar, skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah, give it a minute or two. I
Okay.
won't rant for long. I'm really enjoying the hell out of this thing, right? My wife told me to watch it, and 8 episodes long. All of a
Okay.
sudden, in episode 7, it's revealed he's a fucking alien. It like comes out of
I'm sorry,
nowhere.
what?
Yeah.
What? That's
I don't know.
random.
It was the weirdest fucking thing, and it just
That's a
ruined it for me.
that's a hell of a twist right there.
I don't watch science fiction shit, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden, and then I'm thinking, well, fuck, do I got to watch episode 8 or I don't? And I did watch it, and I was still angry and disappointed. I mean, what do you mean,
Okay.
alien?
Is an alien. All right.
Yeah.
Well, no, I didn't see that coming. When you said there was a twist, I was like, what is she is she dead and whatever? But no, he's an alien.
He's
All
an
right.
alien. I don't even
Okay.
remember how it ended. I was so mad.
All right. Well, I mean,
Right
Yeah.
now I'm watching Netflix told me to watch it. I think it's a few years old. Did you watch Your Honor with Bryan
So okay,
Cranston?
that originally came on to Paramount Plus,
Hmm.
and I did not watch it when it was on, or maybe it was Showtime, but I didn't watch it at the time that it was on originally. And I saw that Netflix now was carrying it, and I like Bryan Cranston, and so
He's
I was
very
interested.
good in this, you
Okay,
know.
okay,
I think it's interesting. Basically, he's a judge, and his kid has an asthma attack and hits someone and kills them on a motorcycle.
oh shit,
Yeah, so he's saying, "Listen, we got to go face the consequences." But then when he gets there, he realized the kid on the motorcycle was the son of the biggest mafia guy in town.
oh shit.
Yeah, and things ensue from there.
I would think things would ensue from
Yeah,
there.
you
Okay,
can't turn him in at that point. He'll be
no,
dead.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
so yeah, there's
wow,
a lot of hijinks. So I'm
okay.
enjoying that. I'm about halfway through that.
I will have to give that a viewing. I did see that another season of The Mayor of Kingstown is getting ready to hit Paramount Plus, and that's a show with Jeremy Renner. There's two seasons that are out now. This is the third coming out, and the third has been delayed, obviously, because he decided, well, he didn't decide. It unfortunately happened that he got run over by a snowplow. You know,
Oh,
when was that? That was January. It was right at like the beginning of the year.
yeah,
I
I
feel like
remember that.
2023,
Yeah,
and that slowed production down quite a bit. You
I
know,
would
your
guess.
your
Yeah.
lead actor nearly dying. You know,
Work
but
it into the script. Just record in the hotel room or the
exactly,
hospital room.
I
You know.
guess, but that's been
Uh,
that I do like that show. There's a lot going on in that show too, because essentially, he's kind of a go between the prisoners it's in this little town, maybe in New York, I don't know, but it's like a little town, and they have a federal prison,
hmm,
and so he's the go between the prisoners and the criminals out on the outside, as well as law enforcement, trying to
yeah.
keep everything kind of tamped down and keep the peace to the extent that he can, because obviously things can get crazy and out of control quickly if
As they do.
as they do. And so, but it's a good show, and I've liked it. And but there's the new season's going to be coming soon, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh,
That's one of those Taylor Sheridan shows.
oh yeah.
Um, Yellowstone, and what else does he do? He does that. Have you watched Tulsa King?
No.
That's another one on Paramount. That one's got Sylvester Stallone,
Oh
and he
yeah.
plays a mafia guy, and he
Huh.
gets out of prison, and basically the mob's like, yeah, we don't have anything for you, so go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and start up a
Oh no.
a chapter of the family. And so he does, and ends up getting into conflict with the people back in New York, and you know it's
Oh
it.
yeah. So it's
But I'll
sort of
tell.
like what was that Steven Van Zandt one when he was a mafia guy in a Scandinavian country?
Mm, oh God, I know which one you're talking about. It was on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah, I watched the
Um,
whole thing, but it was good.
I it's always been on my list, but I heard that it ended kind of on a cliffhanger, and they didn't renew it for another season. And so I've kind of been like, do I want to watch it if I know that that's the case? Because I always kind of in my mind envisioned that might be the continuation of Silvio from The Sopranos.
Yeah, Lilyhammer.
That's it. That's it.
That is the one.
That's the one.
The only final one I had is something that Dave Garofalo, I think on a random Sunday, he sent me a link and it's called How to Start a Small Business.
Okay.
Yeah, he just says, movie about midget wrestling business.
Oh
Pretty
shit.
interesting. Yeah, so it's kind of a documentary.
Okay. So it's
It,
actually a small business. I love it.
Yeah, it is
Um.
very interesting. Runs a little less than an hour and a half.
Okay.
Okay, now the noise is starting. Can you hear all the noise or not too bad?
You sound a little different, but I don't hear any noise.
All right, then maybe it's doing noise cancellation of the power washing going on
That might be
20
it.
feet away.
I was gonna say that might be it because yeah, you sound slightly different, but that's okay.
Yeah,
You still
that's all
sound
right.
fine. It's just
Just different.
well now you sound normal again.
Yeah,
So
but now he started the thing, and I probably sound
and
a
now
little
you sound
different.
different again. All right. Well, now we know what's going on. Yeah. So speaking of the midget wrestling, I talked about it when I had Joel Williams on the show, hyping up his wrestling event. But I got to see the micro wrestling. It came through my
Yeah.
area, and I
I
went
mean,
and
is
saw the
that
show.
entertaining or what?
I'm a firm believer now. Like there's no
And
question. They come through
not,
my area, I'm going to see it.
yeah, not so much. When Dave and I went before the expo, we went to a show. They were so great with the kids that were there. The kids were having a great time
Yeah.
too. It was, I mean, I guess wholesome family fun.
I mean, I would say so because I mean, this one was at a bar, so
Yeah,
but it was an outside, it was out on their patio.
yeah,
So, kids could be there and it's not like, it was a problem. Sometimes when they come through, they do go to the strip club to do their thing.
yeah.
And I wouldn't think that would be a family friendly venue, but I don't know how that would be with midget wrestling and strippers at the same time, but that's a whole
Exciting.
different.
It would be exciting.
It would be probably a feast for the senses, that's for sure. But no, they had this little guy that came out and he sang 3 songs before the show started. And, then they had what 4 matches? It was 4 matches. Fairly long intermission. That was the only thing. The intermission could have been a little shorter, but yeah, ironically. But
Shorter.
it cracked me up because they had like a box truck, like a rider truck,
Yeah.
and that's what they were using as their dressing room. You'd see them like, in the back of the box truck, like hop out and go to the ring from there. It's like, okay, I
Well,
guess that
listen,
works.
it's even sadder in this movie where they all live in a van.
Oh God.
Yeah, yeah. But I would say check it out. How to start a small business.
How to start a small business. Okay.
Right.
Dave comes out with some interesting movies sometimes.
I don't know where he found that one, but
I mean, obviously he was pretty high on the Pop Tart movie because you guys did an entire after show about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was, I mean, it was entertaining. I don't know why people needed to shit on it. It was what it was.
I was gonna say, if you're coming to a Pop Tart movie expecting it to be, some sort of high cinema, then you came in with the wrong expectation. I mean,
Yeah, it was a movie. It
yeah,
wasn't a film.
exactly. It was fun. I mean, that's the thing. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Well, otherwise, I haven't been watching a lot between searching for houses and having my kiddo over this weekend. It was a whole
Yeah.
lot of Storybots and Thomas the Train,
Yeah.
this weekend. So,
You
I'm
probably
caught
know
up on that.
all the Thomas episodes by now.
Dude, he's got specific ones that he likes. And so,
Mhm.
You got to hit the same ones over and over and over and over again. So,
That's important.
as it is with kids cartoons, I don't think that's anything unique to my kid.
Oh,
They
no.
have yeah,
Same movie again and again and
again and again and again.
again.
I don't know, but any podcasts or anything else that you've been listening to lately that's been out of the
No,
ordinary or ones you want to highlight?
Dave and I went on a field trip on Sunday to Giggles Comedy Club to see Tony V and Lenny Clark.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, it's always a good time because they set up lawn chairs behind the place near the dumpster. So we got to hang out pre and post show and smoke cigars with the comedians, which is always fun.
That is fun. Dusty Slay rolled through here, 2 weeks ago, I feel like. No, it was about 2 weeks ago. It was the very end of May. And so I went and saw him, and then afterwards we sat out back behind the venue and smoked cigars for a couple hours and just kind of shot the shit. So
because that's what people do.
that's what we do. Exactly. Hell, we sat out in the rain. It was even raining We had it was a very light, misty rain, and we had an
Yeah.
umbrella that covered most of us. But I felt bad. There were about 7 of us sitting out there, and I felt bad for Dusty because where he was sitting was right just past the edge of the umbrella.
Huh.
But he didn't complain at all, man. He
Huh.
just sat there like a champ, just sitting in the
I-
rain, smoking his cigars.
I
So
did learn something on a podcast. Did you ever learn something and then just feel like, am I that fucking dumb that I didn't know this in my entire life?
yeah, that's those things where it's like I was today years old when I learned,
Yeah.
whatever kind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
And
once in a while.
this is a show called 20,000 Hertz.
Okay.
And 20,000 Hertz, as it turns out, is the upper limit of human hearing. So this is all about sound, right?
Okay.
Sometimes they'll talk about, audio branding and do a whole episode on, the HBO noise before and how this all come about. Sometimes it'll be sounds in video games, but this fun fact, and maybe you knew this,
I don't know.
Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star and the ABC song are the same melody.
Now you've got me thinking about it. So A, B, C, D, and then
Twinkle,
twinkle, twinkle. I'll be damned.
And I'm like, so in 60 years, I never noticed this.
I was gonna say I can't say I ever thought that hard about it. It's interesting. You're right.
Then I went down the rabbit hole of, okay, which came first? And Twinkle,
Yeah.
Twinkle predates the ABC song, but the melody is derived from Mozart.
Okay. Oh my God, really?
Yeah, I didn't go find the actual source to listen to the Mozart. I was just confused that I had never made the connection before.
So Mozart is responsible
For
for Twinkle Twinkle and the ABC song.
Yep, there you have it.
Damn. No, now I've learned something.
You learn the darndest things on these podcasts.
You do. I like it though. It's fun.
You may have learned something, and that makes you a parishioner.
God, now Dave's gonna say that I ripped that. Or well, you ripped that off.
I
not me.
ripped it off.
Oh, you guys did that show recently about the imitation cigar imitation
Right.
in the cigar industry, and I'm just sitting there the whole damn time. And you did bring me up.
You knew it was coming.
I knew it
eventually.
was coming. I expected more, but I didn't. It was not nearly as much as. But that's okay. But I was just like, I'm like, okay, where is this gonna come? I know it's
No.
gonna happen. Yeah.
And
so,
listen, we still harp on it, but that was in reference to specific point in time. Yeah. Now it's a very different show. You don't prepare, and we prepare. They're not the same at all.
I mean, every once in a while I prepare.
No,
but
yeah.
no, that's true. That's true. It's it's a little.
You have
different.
to do some preparation for those solo shows.
Oh my God, yeah. Otherwise, it's just me sitting there staring at a camera awkwardly, and
But
nobody.
you're
wants to
exactly
listen to
right.
that.
You think I must have been talking for an hour, and it's 10 minutes or something.
10 minutes, and it's brutally painful when you look at that clock and you realize, like, yep, I still have to go another 45 minutes to 50 minutes in order for this to be decent for people.
And we do, as you know, on Cigar Authority, have a show clock running.
Yep.
But with the segments of that show, it's
Yeah.
very clear, right? By the time you get to the first break, are we behind or are we ahead? And so you can adjust as you go without a big surprise at the end.
Yeah. Well, and with 3 of you there, and then more if you have a guest. I mean, there's typically enough conversation going to fill the time.
Absolutely. And listen, any of the things you can make it last longer if you need to. You can tighten it up, right? If we're almost out of time, maybe the classic classic history either it gets skipped or I've got 2 questions and 1 tiebreaker.
Okay. So now I understand that.
Yeah.
Then.
No, there's different ways to adjust so that.
Yeah.
I mean, for you, it doesn't matter how long it is. For
No.
us, we've just always done 2 hours. And
Well, I like to make it just long enough for at least somebody to be able to have a cigar with me.
yeah,
You know, it's like maybe it goes longer and you can fire up a second one or smoke slowly. You know, like I mean, my God, you know, I'm on my second cigar and you're still, you know, in the arguably
the
the
big cigar. I'm not quite to the
not
final
quite
third.
to the. I was say, I mean, you're still in
I
the
think I
second third
passed
at
the
least.
halfway. Yeah.
But, you know, but yeah, exactly. I mean, I try to make it to where people can at least, because I have had enough listeners reach out and say, you know, hey, I don't have a cigar lounge near me, so this is my opportunity to sit and hear the lounge BS while I have a cigar. You know,
Yeah.
and that's important to me. So I try to make it at least long enough for somebody to sit and have a cigar. But
Well, I think we've done that today.
we've definitely done that today. We've done that today. Well, why don't we do this now?
Guess what, motherfucker?
Time for 3 cigars we smoked and enjoyed this week. And I'm kind of putting you on the spot. I don't know if you've prepped for that or not, but I would think you would.
I kind of knew it was coming.
Oh, okay. I figured at the very least you had enough, you know, prepped and planned out that you could do that. So
yeah, any given half a day, I could give you 3 cigars I've smoked.
that's true. I would think
like
yeah.
today, for example, I smoked 3515.
Okay. Cigar
We've-
Journal.
Yeah, we just
Okay.
got a pack, and I'm away for 5 days, so I'm short on time to finish the 7 cigars they sent
So
out.
was 3515 a good cigar?
I believe 3515 got an 88.
Okay, that's not horrible.
No,
It's
no, I
not.
mean, it was solid. There
Yeah.
was just nothing that said to me, man, I wish I had another one of these.
Okay. Okay.
You know.
I managed to get caught up on my boner star reviews.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I was down to the wire and sent in my 11 my number 11 cigar on the day it was due, but I also had smoked my number 12 cigar by that point, and so when I sent in to Dan, I sent him both. So
that may confuse them.
I was down to the wire on one, but I was way early on the next one. So now I'm sitting around and I'm like, man, I need to get my boner review in. But then I'm like, oh wait, no, I don't. I've already done that. You know?
Yeah, you got to
So
stay unpredictable like that.
I guess, you know.
One cigar I had this week that I enjoyed was on my list of the potential top 5, the Bronze Back.
Okay.
I had a couple of those this week, and then I went towards. Listen, we're not that far from the 4th of July. So I broke out a Mike Rita firecracker.
Okay.
And a Perdomo firecracker.
Well, and I just saw that the news that the Lunatic firecracker
on sale Thursday at 10 a.m.
Yeah, but it's been shipped to stores already so that everybody should have them, you know, for release date. So,
and listen, if somebody doesn't have a place to get it locally, they will be on twoguyscigars.com on Thursday at 10 a.m.
for a half minute at least.
Well, then
they do sell quickly. So,
yeah,
you know, if you're interested in
if you're interested, you have to jump on it.
Yeah.
I will see Terrence.
Okay.
Because Eduardo Fernandez and his son Max are coming for the Father's Day dinner. And I think Terrence will be in stores. I think Nashua and Seabrook on Friday, and then Salem on Saturday.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, that'll work out well. Time out. Well, I guess it timed out purposely for the firecracker release.
Yeah,
so
I could say I'm looking forward to it, but I've smoked it. It's very good. I told you, Chef and I were down in Miami when we saw Terrence.
Yeah.
This was a year and a half ago. He gave me a secret package to take to Dave. They just made the firecracker they wanted to make, sent it to Dave, and said, "What do you think about this?"
Yeah.
And that's how they ended up, as a firecracker.
Interesting. Is it? I mean,
I think we're going to talk about it on one of the episodes, the history of firecracker. It turns out Aganorsa's made a lot of them.
That would make sense because
they were making
other
them for a lot of people.
companies. Yeah, exactly. Interesting. So they're very well aware of the parameters of the
They
firecracker.
know how to put a fuse on a cigar. Let's say that.
Very good. Very good. Well, I'll look into those because I know that I think I know I've got at least one of the last couple of years. I know I still have quite a bit of a box of Perdomo ones.
And
That would be
those are delicious.
Oh, they really are.
The blend is superb. It's not one of your strongest firecrackers. I mean, it's not a light cigar, but
yeah.
So I'd say the Aganorsa's maybe a touch stronger than that, but it's not in the Cro-Magnon or Mi Querida range.
Okay. And then
the EP Carrillo was another strong one.
Which was the one that Melillo did?
The Wise
was
Man.
that Wise Man? Okay, yeah, I think I have a box of those sitting around in there too.
Sure.
So
at the time, those would have been made at Aganorsa.
There you go.
Yeah, that's one of them. But I think there were 7, if I remember. So tune in and find out what all that was.
There you go. Well, my first one is one that you mentioned the Perla Del Mar earlier.
Yeah.
I was doing my deliveries and I broke out. I've been doing a lot of organization in my cigars, and I found that the box of Perla Del Mar Corojo that I had sitting around from. I think I bought that the last time I was at the Tampa factory, which was probably 2021.
Yep,
and
that's the one we smoked on the show, 4.8.
Yeah, and fantastic cigar. It's the only box press cigar I've ever bought a box of.
It's funny. I don't think to smoke them often, and then when I smoked it on the show, I'm saying, well, why don't I smoke these? These are great.
I know. I know.
Very good price point on them. It's a solid cigar.
Very solid cigar indeed. So what's your next one?
I don't know. I gave you 2 firecrackers and a bronze back.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. If you want to stick to that, that's fine.
If you have to stick.
Well, no, I didn't realize that you were going with both the firecrackers.
I smoke McAuliffe Black every day.
Okay.
So I don't know if that makes it special, or I guess it is. If I
it's whatever
smoke it every day,
you feel like highlighting. That's all.
Well, I also have been smoking Perdomo Champagne. Is one of my favoriteest of Connecticut cigars.
Okay,
got some kick to it.
It does indeed have some kick to it. That's one that I used to smoke all the time, and then I moved over to the Habano Sun Grown. And now I smoke the shit out of that. And every once in a while, I'll go back and have a champagne. And I'm like, boy, I need to smoke these more often.
Well, and I did smoke a 30th Sun Grown Torpedo.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I don't smoke the same thing every day. I mix
well, no, that would be boring. That would be boring. Well, you don't want to do that.
And HVC, half Coronas, I probably smoked, a box worth of those over the last
Quite a
week.
few of those. Quite a few of those.
Listen, it's perfect for short periods of time. If you don't have a lot of time, you can get a lot of flavor and satisfaction from the short Corona.
Well, there you go.
But
I tend to make sure I've got the time. I don't really typically fire up one if I'm like pressed for time. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. I guess I could because they obviously have sizes available for that. But
my dog walking cigar is always the Perdomo Champagne Purito.
Okay.
Which, much to the horror of Dave, the profile is a half Lancero.
Boy, that would make his fingers look big because it's not even long. It's like it's just a little stubby thing.
Yeah.
My next one. So we talked about Padron earlier, and earlier this week I did on the show fire up a Padron 1964 anniversary Maduro, the Presidente. This one though, actually, I had purchased from a shop here in St. Louis. It's under new management, and when the new owner came in and was kind of organizing, rooting around, and doing some inventory, he found a number of these boxes of Padrones sitting in a corner that had been overlooked. And so
So you
these
had
things
an
have been
ancient Padron.
yeah, these things have been sitting around for like 5 or 6 years apparently. So it had some age to it, which I don't know if that made any difference or not, but it was a damn fine smoke. I enjoyed it.
Well, that's good.
I did. Yeah.
I thought was good.
I thought it was good. Exactly. It's not butt plug quality, but
No.
whatever. And then the last one that I smoked and I did enjoy this week was actually another from JC Newman. The Yaguas hit around
Oh, yeah.
here. And
They hit up in New Hampshire too.
so I picked up I bought a box of those, but I also bought a single that I could have right then and there. And so I smoked and enjoyed that.
And how was your misshapen cigar experience?
It was very good. I mean, it's that cigar's got that kind of barnyard kind of quality to it. And but I always have a good time with that cigar. But yeah, the misshapen aspect of it I think makes it fun. Like when I'm rooting around in the box to pick out a single or if I've the box that I bought, that sort of thing. I always try to smoke the really odd shaped ones first before I get to the ones that are like, okay, this one's close to round or this one's, whatever. It's like
for me, that cigar's just a really nice change of pace.
Mhm.
And it's almost good for me that they're not around all the time.
Jocelyn Stevens.
Yes, exactly.
See, we know that was Jocelyn.
Exactly.
But if it was unknown,
it would not have done
know.
that.
No.
I know. I know. It's like, my God, everybody wants a piece of me this afternoon. It's like you'd think it was like a weekday or something like that.
You'd think I'm supposed to be working.
Yeah, I know, right? You'd think that people would actually expect me to be working right now. No, you're right. I think because it is an admittedly maybe twice annual kind of limited release. It seems like they come out beginning of the year and end of the year kind of time frame. You're right. It's one of those things where it's nice at the time. I don't know if I would dig it quite as much as if it were around constantly.
Yeah, it's not a regular rotation cigar for me, but I enjoy them when I have them.
Precisely. And I bought this box this year because the box that I had of them I was down to I think the last 4, but that box I bought at the beginning of 22. So I mean, like I stretched that one out for quite some time.
Yeah.
Because again, to your point, it's not one that you want to smoke every day or twice a day or something like that.
No, you'll hit a mood and you'll say, that's exactly the one I want right
That's
now.
the one I want. Exactly. So, okay. All right. Well, fun. Well, now let's talk about fucking good coffee. And, fucking good coffee. You go over there to fuckinggoodcoffee.com. They have all kinds of different blends available. The beauty is they're all designed to pair with cigars. The lounge blend, especially, Nick over there, he talks about how that blends or pairs perfectly with any cigar that you're smoking. And so you're always going to be able to have that good coffee and cigar pairing experience. But for those of you that are interested in maybe like a lighter roast or a darker roast, Nick's got you covered, and you can you check that out. And I believe he even has a subscription available, so you can sign up for that. And so then when you're running low, by God, the mailman brings you more. So it works out well.
Never be out of fucking coffee.
You're never out of fucking coffee. Exactly.
That's awesome.
It's a fucking good deal. So,
and I think, is he coming to the expo?
He is, I believe, coming to the expo. And I know last year, all the VIPs in the at the show were able to enjoy some fucking good coffee.
I believe I had some with my donut from the Wall of Donuts.
There you go. And I believe, unless something has changed and I don't know it, I believe that's probably the plan, for this year, for everybody to have some fucking good coffee again. So
we'll have both Nicks there.
You will indeed. I had too much FOMO last year, with the midget wrestling and Bill Burr that I was like, no, we're gonna make it work this year. So,
And
yep.
I mean, it's inevitable somebody will come up to you and think you are the fucking good coffee guy.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Nick. You know, I mean,
they can't get bogged down with
they can't.
last names.
Yeah, they can't get bogged down with details of like which Nick it is. But
no,
yeah, I mean, but no, I'll properly direct them to the appropriate Fokker. And oh my God, she is really trying to get a hold of me, and
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know how YouTube's going to feel about the music samples.
Well, I'll pot that down when I edit this. I mean, in terms of the video, well, I was just going to take that off of Zoom. So, yeah, I don't know how YouTube will feel about that, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But,
it'll be fine. I mean, listen, sometimes they just mention that it's copyrighted material, and it's up to the copyright holder what they want to do. And some of them just say, okay, well, I'll take the monetization, which is great because we can't monetize.
I was going to say, I don't get any money from it anyway.
Well, you couldn't.
So, yeah.
I mean, Cigar Authority did for a brief moment before they demonetized tobacco content.
She says, sorry, I apparently was calling you over and over again while my phone was in my purse. So, so it was a purse dial. I'm like, well, convenient timing. So
I don't know how purse dialing works.
I don't either. Especially with an iPhone, but
you'll have to look into that.
I would have to get a purse first, and maybe I can borrow one. I can borrow one from Jonathan while I'm up there for the expo.
I'm sure he's got a Mercer or two around.
He does. He does. He's gonna say it's his like cigar carrier or something like that. Like he can keep all of his like lighters and cutters and cigars and whatnot in one place.
But or something.
But exactly. But let's be real. You and I both know what it is. So.
Well, yeah. I mean. Even if you got your Herfador or something, it's still a man purse of sorts.
I mean,
a manly purse, but
from a practical standpoint, a purse does make some level of sense if you're carrying around a lot of stuff. I mean, like we're talking about my SV cutter; it's fairly heavy. Would it be nice if I had like a bag that I could throw that into? That would be nice. But, as a man, I just put it in my pocket and deal with the fact that my pants are weighed down slightly.
Toss a firearm into the purse.
You could do that. Exactly. But, I don't know how well that would go over in Illinois. We, I mean, we have concealed carry here, but I think I have to give up my firstborn in order to achieve it. So
right. I mean, concealed carry's fine, but New Hampshire has open carry too, which it's always kind of freaks you out when people walk up to the register, with a gun strapped.
They've got that gun strapped onto them. Yeah. Missouri's like that. You can open carry in Missouri. So, but I don't know. It's a little odd, but at the same time, I guess depends on where you're at. Like, I always figure when I'm over at a cigar lounge and over in Missouri, I always think to myself, I'm like, nobody's going to be brave enough to rob this place because there's probably at least three people in this. I would say there's at least three people in this room that's armed, so.
Yeah, there's easier places to go.
Oh, well, and my God, there's way better places to go that have cash. I mean, I don't know how it is for two guys, but around here, damn near every cigar lounge, it's mostly debit and credit card transactions.
It's become that. I think in the old days, they used to have piles of cash to deal with, and just not so much anymore. I mean, you got all the guys that are hiding the purchases from their wives are usually cash and carry, but
true. I don't know. I just had a separate checking account and never got receipts, but that was me, Of course, that was before I realized that I could be taking my tax or cigars off of my taxes. So, once I learned that, it was receipt all the time, every time. It didn't matter.
Yeah. Listen, then all goes on the business card.
Precisely.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
It really does. It really does.
Such as it is, this is a business.
It is.
Doesn't make any money.
Not a lot, but some,
Well,
some.
That's the thing. I think if you go too long not showing any profit,
Mhm.
taking deductions, and the IRS will
I think it's
decide
7.
it's not
I think
a
it's 7
business.
years. Yeah, I think it's 7 years when they determine that it's a hobby.
Right.
So,
How many years in are you?
5.
right.
However, see, the nice thing about it for me is, well, nice or not, I guess, is so I just have the one umbrella, corporation, the LLC,
Right.
and underneath that I have both the newspaper and the
Mm.
podcast. So I never have to worry about it, becoming a
Right.
hobby in that regard because I have the revenue on the newspaper. Now, if the newspaper got to the point where it was completely underwater,
Mm.
yeah, at some point, then both are going to be in trouble after 7 years. But,
Yeah.
let's be real. If the paper goes that far underwater, I'm not going to make it 7 years because,
Right.
boy, let's talk about expenses. We could talk about the post office and how much
Mhm.
they've raised my postage this year and printing, but whatever. That's boring stuff. So,
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just focus on my big ticket items for tax purposes. When I want to buy my toys,
exactly.
like the new iPad that costs as much as a computer. I
Oh my
thought,
God.
okay, I'd like one of those. Did you see those iPads? It's crazy.
No, but like Apple's gotten ridiculous with their pricing on all this shit. I mean, I thought that with the phones. I mean, my God, the phones, you're looking at well over $1,000 to get a decent phone.
Yeah. If you want the Pro or whatever.
Well, because I get the bigger one because I have those fat fingers that Dave talks about too.
Mhm.
And so like I upgraded to the Pro with one model, and and at first it was a little off-putting, but then I got used to it. But then, when it was time to upgrade phones again, I looked at the regular model of the next version or
Yeah.
whatever version it was, and oh God, it felt so small.
Yeah.
It just felt so ridiculously small. And so I had to just stick with the Pro. And the other thing that I absolutely hate, and I will not do it anymore, is buying one of these phones that doesn't have proper storage, because nothing sucks more than when you want to take a picture and it's like your storage is full, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, crap.
I know,
So
but that's what really starts jacking the price up too, because you look
uh-huh.
at the price and say, "Well, it's not cheap, but okay." And then it's like, "Well, yeah, but if I want a terabyte of storage, then all of a sudden that's adding, 400 or whatever it is.
Precisely.
Just
That's my
keeps
whole deal
going.
with needing a new MacBook is and I know we've talked about that. I haven't done that yet. And right now, since I'm looking to buy a house, I'm not exactly in a position to be
Right.
going out and taking out any lines of credit with anybody at this point, because I think the bank would be a little upset with me if I just started going out and
Right.
like, hey, I'm going to take out a line of credit for $5,000 to buy a new MacBook because
Well, listen,
you know
with those Apple MacBooks, the best thing to do is wait for a new model and then buy the previous one,
precisely.
because they're all pretty powerful machines at this point.
I say the same thing with the phones. I mean,
Yeah.
and they come out with a new version of the phone damn near every year, it seems like.
The
So
thing about the phones, though, it doesn't seem like now mostly the difference is camera shit,
yeah.
and I don't care,
Well, shit, the camera on my phone is arguably better in some respects than my DSLR.
Right.
It's like, because I bought that DSLR, in 2015.
Yeah.
So here we are with a 9-year-old camera versus my iPhone, and then, yeah, I mean, realistically, it's smaller, it's easier. I can do editing on the fly. I mean,
Listen, you don't have to know shit about photography to
you
get a
really don't.
decent picture.
Yeah. Just look at Instagram. Lots of people are taking shitty pictures and posting them.
Well, what about the cigar pictures where people can't figure out, just touch the cigar and it will focus on the
Right.
cigar?
I
And it's like, all
know.
you got is a blur
Oh,
and a sharp background of
sharp
nonsense.
background. Which I guess, if that's what you're going for. But see,
I don't
and
think it is what they're going for,
well, see,
though.
every once in a while, like, when I'm trying to be artsy, I'll take two. I'll take one where the background is out of focus, but then I'll take the other where
Yeah.
it's the opposite way. But I'll post both because it's like, this is
Sure.
what I'm smoking at the fire pit, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the only case I could see, if I'm
oh,
out walking
God.
the dog and it's really a picture of the dog, that you want, and that's fine. The cigar
Mhm.
doesn't have to be in focus, but
Yeah, but if you're hyping the cigar,
yeah.
make sure the cigar is in focus, you know? I mean, I don't know.
Usually it's the same people that look like they cut the cigar halfway up or something. It's
Yes,
like,
they cut
what
way too damn
happened?
much off the tip. And then also, I find it's the same people who have this habit of just slobbing all over the end of it too. So you get this photo of this just soaked
Yeah.
cigar, you know? It's
Maybe
like,
chewed up.
yeah, I'm like, oh God, maybe take a picture before you start smoking it. I don't know, just a thought, you know, something, anything. But yeah, the Instagram tends to well, I don't know. Some people need to take a little bit of a photography lesson.
Yeah, it doesn't
Well,
take much. Just focus.
it really doesn't. Exactly. Well, and they've got that little sun so you can adjust the light
You can
coming
do
in. I mean, you
everything.
could do
It's
so
simple.
much, so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, but they'll
Anyway,
just take a bad photo and then put a filter on it that makes it even worse.
well, speaking of Instagram, I'm on the socials on Instagram on at the Cigar Pulpit. I'm also on Facebook where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. You can join in the fun there. I'm on Twitter/X, YouTube where you can watch this, and I still haven't signed up for Rumble yet, but I that is on my to-do list. I want to get the videos up on Rumble.
Oh yeah, and you know, for that, if you sign up, you can just tell it to sync. And you
Okay.
don't even have to think about it after that.
Okay.
So when new things show up, it just automatically pulls it from YouTube and gets it over on Rumble.
So when I upload to YouTube, Rumble will pull from YouTube?
Yes, sir.
Ah, see, that's brilliant. I like that.
And I believe also when you set it up, you can tell it, go get the shit that's on YouTube now.
Ooh, now that's nice. Kind of
Yeah.
auto-populate with some old stuff.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything beyond that setup.
Well, by God, now I'm even
I
more
think you should
motivated to do
spend
that.
if it took you more than an hour, I'd question your intelligence.
Well,
So,
you know,
yeah, put aside an hour.
you
and
don't
then,
quite know me that well, Ed. But yeah.
then call me when you fuck it up.
Okay, yeah, no, I'll do that. I'll do that.
But it's worth it even just to have, backup recordings
Mm-hmm.
of the stuff in the event that YouTube put the hammer down. At least you'd have the stuff somewhere.
Now, the thing with Rumble, isn't that the one where it like kind of puts videos up to compete against one another or something like that? Or
I don't even know how the whole thing works.
okay. I didn't know. I thought that was the one that was one of the things. It's like, they'll put up two videos and you vote as to which one is better than the other or something like
Oh
that.
my
But
God.
I don't know. Maybe not.
It
Maybe
just
I thought that's
makes
I
the
don't know.
losers so sad.
Well, and it may be one of those things where maybe that was the initial thing, but then over time it just became like an alternate YouTube
It's basically
option.
an alternate YouTube at this point.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but set it up. Why not?
Why not? Exactly.
We don't do anything over there except get the thing streaming, and
Yeah.
I'd say we get as many views there as we do on Facebook.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
No.
See, I
No,
don't even upload the video to Facebook.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd bother except that we just stream live,
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, how many places do you need to be?
Right. It becomes cumbersome to try and pull together all the data at that point too.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if somebody hates Facebook and they hate YouTube and they hate Rumble, then I don't know. Listen to the audio.
Listen to the audio.
Tell you.
Well, I mean, come on. For the most part, you're not really missing anything by just listening to the audio.
You're not.
I mean, it's very rare that there's something that comes up on a video that you have to actually see.
Right.
So,
I mean, we have nice backgrounds today. It looks very green on both sides.
I agree, and I'm glad I decided to aim, this way for the one because, I would have really felt bad with my car and my garbage can and the brick wall behind me on that side,
Right.
with your wonderful, wooded setting there.
Yeah. Yeah. You're looking good there. I like it.
It's not bad. I will, I've got a pond out back that has some mosquito issues, but other than
Oh.
that, Other than that, I will probably when I do move, I'm gonna miss the like edge of nature kind of quality of this place.
Yeah, how do you battle those mosquitoes?
I sneak over there at 3 o'clock in the morning every 2 weeks, and I throw like 20 of these like pellets that I buy on Amazon into the water
Ah,
that kills the larva and
it
whatnot. And
kills nature and
yeah,
everything
well, it
else.
doesn't.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be good for the fish, the animals, and people because I didn't want to like destroy the pond ecosystem. I just wanted to get rid of the mosquitoes, but otherwise, it's an awful lot of off, So, I mean,
Well, I
yeah.
mean, you got to do what you got to do.
I mean, they love me. They love me way too much. So I have to do what I have to do. You're right. So
Well, I mean, have you ever tried those thermocell things?
yes, actually,
I find they work reasonably well.
they don't do bad. Now the first one I tried was the kind that had the little pads and the butane
Right.
insert.
Yeah.
And those I was going through so many refills,
Mm,
with that. Cause I mean, you're a cigar guy, you get this. I mean, you sit out in the evening and you might be sitting out for
hours.
2 or 3 cigars.
Yeah.
Well, my God, there's an insert and a half because those things were only good for I think 4 hours. So I
Yep.
mean, like, I would burn through those. So I upgraded last year to the one that's USB powered and it just has the
Ah,
little insert of the stuff.
yeah.
And that one's amazing. The
Huh.
insert lasts for I think like 18 hours. And I just keep it plugged in so that the battery never runs down.
No, that's smart. You just
Yeah,
plug it into the laptop and you're
it's
ready.
perfect. Actually, I plug it. I've got a little one of the. So ever since the iPhone switched to the USB C, I still have all the bricks, the
Oh,
power
yeah.
bricks with the USB connector. So I just plug it into one of those and into the extension cord, and then it's all fine and good too. So
It's
it works
nice. I
very
mean,
well.
yeah, the wind affects it though.
Hmm.
If it's all whatever is sending them away is blowing away from you, then they can get you.
Yeah. I also find now, granted, this time of year it's starting to get warm enough that I'm not really using the fire pit as much, but I will say, in the spring and in the fall, before the mosquitoes die, the smoke from the fire pit definitely helps a lot too. Granted, you smell like a bonfire when you go inside, but I'd rather
Right.
that than be bitten up and chewed up.
Right. It doesn't show up on the screen, but this is a screen porch, so
Oh,
I
okay.
hide in here from the mosquitoes.
That's nice.
We
That's
got
nice.
a lot of them here.
Oh, I would think with the
You know what
woods,
our
yeah.
town newspaper is called?
No.
The Mosquito.
Okay.
Basically, the whole town is ledge and wetlands.
You know,
So
I always say that when I get to the pearly gates, and I have, assuming I'm going up, but
right.
when I get to the pearly gates, my one question, before they kick me south or let me in, one way or the other, is going to be, I just got to know what the hell was the point of the mosquito,
Right.
because like, look, I get it if you're trying to say like, oh, it's part of the food chain. There's other bugs that the frogs and everything can eat. They don't have to eat mosquitoes. And in terms of
They're disease
spread,
carriers.
well, that's the thing. They're spreading
Yeah.
disease. So at that point, like that's not a positive
No,
aspect of
no.
that. So like, what is the actual point of the mosquito? And if it's disease carrying, then we don't need that. I thought I heard somewhere at one point, and this was a couple years back, that scientists were trying to uh, generate a version of the mosquito in a lab that when they released it, it would like basically like kill other mosquito. Like it would prevent breeding, or it would essentially stop the breeding cycles for mosquito. And on one hand, I'm like, good for them. That's good. That's a good use of science. On the other hand, I'm thinking, that's how we end up with like Jurassic Park mosquitoes somehow or something, and like shit's gonna go wrong. So I don't know
Well,
if maybe
if we
that's a good
need a
idea or not.
conspiracy theory, maybe they could put the vaccines in the mosquitoes.
My God,
Just send them out.
just send them out. I mean, oh Lord, I don't need mosquitoes in my life. Actually, my bigger issue this week has been wasps. I last week did my newspaper deliveries, and when I opened up one of the outdoor boxes, the quarter boxes,
Yeah.
I opened it up and the wasp flies out. And I'm like, well, that's unusual. What were you doing in there? And I leaned down and look in. And sure enough, these damn bastards had created a big nest in the corner of my newspaper box. So I quickly slammed that shut and procured myself a can of brake cleaner because that stuff works a lot better than Raid, man. I mean, brake cleaner, it'll drop them real quick. So I went back at night when they were sleeping and I just doused the hell out of it. And I've left that box just sitting there fumigating for the last week. So tomorrow when I do my deliveries, I'm sure I'll go there. There'll be a bunch of dead wasps inside. I'll sweep them out and you
didn't decide to douse it with gasoline, drop a match, and walk away.
No. I felt like that would have been overkill. This is actually the second time this has happened to me. The first time I actually got stung. And that one I doused it with Raid and I went through damn near a whole can of Raid killing that wasp nest. And let it sit for about 48 hours, came back, picked up the box, put it in the truck, took it to like one of the quarter washes and hosed it out. I'm not messing with that. That's too much work.
No, you buy that wasp and hornet spray and it'll shoot 40 feet, but then you're not getting accuracy. I mean, you got to man up and just get in there, I think.
You do. I mean, even with the little nozzle thing on the end, I was still able to like really project it. I actually recommend that to women instead of pepper spray.
Oh, nice.
Because in Illinois, if you carry pepper spray, it can be considered a concealed weapon.
Right.
And so if you're a woman in Illinois and you don't want to get in trouble for spraying an attacker with pepper spray,
just
carry some wasp spray with you. And that's perfectly legal to have in your purse.
Do you think Mr. Jonathan has a beekeeper's outfit?
Yeah, but it's probably got one of those like assless thing, the buttons like in the old school long johns,
Sure, but he's got the whole netting and everything.
Yeah. It's
the cheeks are hanging out.
It's a kink. Yeah, exactly.
All right then.
All right.
We covered that.
There you go. I was saying we covered that. Well, Ed, thank you so much for taking time out today.
It was fun.
I had a good time. And
listen, I'm glad that the noise removal seemed to do something because it was loud here.
I never heard anything other than, like I said, you got a little kind of not muffled, but slight. There's a slight variation to your voice, but that went away and no big deal.
That'll happen with the noise removal. They're taking frequencies out, and where there's overlap with the voice, it's going to make it sound different.
Well, no, I mean, technology. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, when it works.
When it works. Oh God. Well, guys, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick.
And I'm Ed.
Everybody stay safe and stay smoky. And now we have the 30-minute long.
I curse you out every time.
I know. That's one of these days I'll go to it.
See, it could end it there.
I probably could have, but I like the way it ends.
I know.
See, realistically,
you like that big ending.
That's a big ending, man. That's a good ending. Realistically, what I need to do
is some repetition. You edit it and take the middle out.
Yeah. Well, realistically, what I really should do is adjust the volume of the actual file to where it's not quite as loud, and then that way I can start
it out.
I can start it a little sooner, and have a little bit more talking, and then by the time it's actually just playing the music, then it's no big deal.
Yeah, or send it to me, and I'll make you a shorter version where you still get your dramatic end. I mean, it's for me, not for you. So
okay. Well, no, I appreciate that. Thanks, Ed.
All right, thank you.